Welcome to Promote Lions 23C, and we got an interesting subject tonight. We got Lion Laura Rowe, who is a region chair, and she's also in charge of the homeless initiative, which is our subject tonight. And there's so many homeless out there. Winter's coming and things are cold. They're going to be very chilly out there. So, welcome, Laura.
Thank you for having me, Tom. I'm always excited to talk about this project.
It's a great project.
It is. And the Lions at 23C have welcomed it and embraced it.
Now, how did a homeless initiative get started?
Our district governor has always had in the back of her mind that she would like to do something for the homeless. We don't have the manpower or the financial ability to open a home, which is what she would love to do. So browsing on the internet, she noticed a care package, a care bag of various items, and that kind of piqued her interest, and we went from there. We started out with bags, and then after contacting various shelters, some didn't want bags because they don't want to encourage people to live outside. They want to rehome them in what they call shelter diversion. Keep them out of the shelters, keep them off the streets. That doesn't always work, and we know that.
Yeah.
So,
especially in the summertime when they're put outside.
right. In late September, our past district governor, Julie Shalosky, and I put together about 50 bags and started giving them out to first responders. Because in the town of Ledyard, where I live, the resident state trooper and our police lieutenant were very excited when they heard about the bags, and they wanted to carry them in their police cars because if you're on patrol at 11 o'clock at night, it's not unusual to run across someone in need, someone who's homeless. So that's how that initiative started. On November 7th, we had a packing party for these bags, and we had over 80 Lions come to St. Vincent de Paul Place in Norwich, Connecticut, and packed about 112 bags. Currently, we have, out of those 162 bags, we have about 5.
Really?
We have requests for about 15 more, and then we're going to fulfill those requests and then sit back and see if there is a need, because we have to be conscious and make sure that we spend our money wisely, because we don't have unlimited funds.
Yeah.
The clubs in the district have been very generous, and that is how we've raised about $3,400 roughly, I think. We've already expended about 3,000 of that.
Wow.
We're getting ready. I'm sorry. We're getting ready to open or to rent a small storage unit, because for all this time it's been in my living room, and
Getting a little cramped, huh?
we didn't have Thanksgiving at the house for obvious reasons, but I would like to have Christmas Eve there.
Oh, that'd be nice. I want to point out that the district, state of Connecticut is split up in 3 sections. District 23A, 23B, and 23C, and it's right down the middle. So there's 3 complete sections. We're in C, which is the whole of
The eastern
Connecticut.
eastern half.
Eastern half of Connecticut, eastern third of Connecticut. And all Lions clubs in various towns contribute to this, we hope. And but so if anybody's decides they would like to donate something, you can go to your local Lions club and mention that you wanted to go for the homeless initiative or wherever you wanted to go, and it'll get to us. Laura doesn't do this alone. It's done with all the Lions' help, and it's all the different clubs that can help contribute. And why don't you show us what's in the bag?
I will.
These bags are absolutely amazing.
Well, these bags were donated 2 years ago when our current district governor was second vice district governor. They did fundraisers, and from the three districts pitched in and gave out these bags with their advertising on them. In each bag there is a fleece blanket, a bag of non-perishable food. We tried to do high-protein food and things that were easy to, easy open cans of Vienna sausage. There's also a full toiletry bag, toothpaste, toothbrushes, deodorant. There's even a notepad and pencil, clean pair of socks, washcloth, soap, and then a hand towel. So everything, if you were homeless, everything to get you through a day or two. Yeah. This is another reason the first responders like them if they're in an emergency situation, a domestic abuse situation, someone has to leave, they have something for at least a day or so.
That's amazing. I think the bag is so cool. And you got to remember, this is for homeless people. These are people on the street. And kids.
Yes.
You mentioned kids at the little meeting.
When I represent our Lions Club at what is called the Ledyard Safe Teen Coalition, and there are safe teen coalitions throughout the country, I'm sure. But at this, I met our town social worker who's at the high school, who's also the homeless liaison, and she mentioned there are several homeless teenagers that, for one reason or another, left home. Yeah. Now, when you talk to the people at the shelters and ask, what about the people under 18, they say, oh no, if they're under 18, they have to go home. Home is the best place for them. But you and I know that that isn't always the answer. No. And these kids are couch surfing, they're staying with friends, some might even be living in their cars. So when we do bags for these kids, everything is the same. But we put them in a regular backpack. So there's no stigma with a bag from the Lions. Okay. It's a regular backpack. And we try to throw in a pair of sneakers or something because this social worker, and I'm sure it's the same throughout the country, she's buying these shoes for kids out of her own pocket. Wow. Now, we started out with the care bags, and that's just one part of it. Talking to the shelters to see if they would like the care bags, we found there are many other needs. Today, the district governor, Nancy Tucker, and I drove around to several area shelters and delivered over 200 pairs of socks. And people were meeting us, homeless people, shelter residents were meeting us as we're walking in and said, do you have socks? We need socks. Do you have gloves? I said, gloves will come in a day or so. We will work on getting people hats and gloves as well. But socks are a commodity that people often forget about. But in these, especially, we've had a lot of rain here in the last couple of days, so people have wet socks and they have no way to clean them or anything. So they were very appreciative of the socks.
That's amazing. Now, you're passing out gloves. Oh, and it was something on TV or newspaper or whatever about scarves. You remember seeing that with people tying scarves to a fence?
Yes, people are taking even mittens and hats and things, just taking a piece of yarn and tying them to a fence or a tree so that anyone who is homeless or in need can just take that particular item. There, I think Tuesday night, just a couple of nights ago, the district governor and I were out in East Haddam, and those particular Lions had done, one of their Lions had done a sock drive through social media and got over 300 pairs of socks. Wow. Then a lot of those ladies knit and crochet, and some were store-bought, but they decorated an entire Christmas tree with hats and gloves and scarves. It was amazing, and we took all that back. And that's where a lot of those socks came from that we delivered today. This morning, we also met with a social worker who is part of the Head Start program and is aware of families with young children that are in shelters or that are transitioning into housing from a shelter. And she had a young mother with a newborn baby, single mom, and I found out later she had 2 other children. But with the newborn, we were able to get a portable crib, and we got blankets and diapers and wipes and also bath towels and a hamper, things to help her get started in this new house.
I think it's just a shame that in this day and age, we have to supply things like that for the homeless. Should be no homeless.
Well,
Yes.
we are well aware of that. Another situation came up today when we were down in New London. There is the Covenant House has a separate 3-bedroom apartment that has 5 gentlemen living in it. 2 of them are vets, 2 or 3 are disabled, and their oil bill is what may put them out again. They don't have the money. They do pay rent,
Yeah.
but they don't have the money to pay for the oil. Covenant House doesn't have it in their budget to pay for the oil. They don't qualify for a subsidy or any special because they're not considered a family unit. So that's what they were asking, if there was anyone who could afford it, if they could buy a tank of oil for these gentlemen. It's $375. So we're going to look at that, and we're going to see if there's some way that through the homeless initiative we can come up with something, or maybe a group of clubs get together.
Yeah.
What we're hoping to do, and we've been talking about this, is that for each, instead of everyone collecting things and then trying to figure out through me how we disperse these, or whoever is the chairperson, we're hoping that clubs will take on whatever is needed in their area.
Yeah.
And answer the call and just be responsible for that particular area. Everything doesn't have to come through one central location.
No. No. And I know the individual clubs have done a lot
Oh, they're amazing.
that nobody ever even knows.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah. And homeless is serious. And you get people that are freezing to death out there, and they can't get into a building, and it's not going to get any better.
No. And Tom, I think what a lot of us who are home, comfortable in our homes, don't think about, that many of us are just one catastrophic event away from being out on the street.
That's right.
It just takes one, loss of a job, medical emergency.
Yep. And you listen to some of the people talk about, there's some woman in Stop and Shop that's got wearing a fur coat, and she's got food stamps. I said, that woman with a fur coat probably had a good job before.
And that may be the only coat she owns.
And it might be the only coat. Or the husband had a good job. And I know a couple of friends of mine that went through that. And he had to take a minimum wage job. They lost their home. And he said, tell you the truth, I'm very happy now.
Well, and you bring up the point, too, that it's not just homeless.
No.
It's the working poor. If you go to any of the soup kitchens, if you go to the New London, the Hospitality Meal Center, the New London Community Meal Center, or you go to St. Vincent de Paul, there are people who are just having a tough time.
Absolutely.
Maybe they can pay their rent, maybe they can pay their insurance, but there's no money for food.
Yeah.
Or just that meal maybe 3 times a week helps them stretch their food budget.
I think Park Neighborhood Center, I think the maximum income is like $30,000, which is I thought was a lot of money. But people making $30,000 are in line for food. And if they got a couple of kids, you got to feed the kids.
Absolutely.
And it's just a terrible, terrible thing. And thank God for places like PNC and Gemma Moran. I mean, she performs miracles.
Right.
And she has, we were talking about how many places do they supply food?
Gemma Moran is a food bank that supplies well over 80 soup kitchens and food banks throughout New London County.
And it's all fresh food.
Yes.
and they
Yes.
work with farmers. Now they have the mobile truck that goes around to places that don't have places like PNC, Park Neighborhood Center, or food bank places. So they go around and visit all these small towns, and bring fresh fruit and fresh vegetables and whatever meats, and in Pawcatuck there'll be a line of about 100 people waiting to get food.
And unfortunately, Gemma Moran is not doing that well.
No,
Talking with St. Vincent de Paul, they used to get an average of 3,000 pounds of food a month from Gemma Moran.
Yeah.
That's cut back to 1,000 pounds.
really.
Now, when you look at the number of people that come through that food pantry, that's a drastic cut.
That's a lot.
Drastic. It is. It trickles down. If they don't get the funding, it affects every one of those 80 plus centers.
And I'll tell you, if you have never been to the Gemma Moran Food Bank, take a run over there and just look, because it's enormous.
I haven't been there. I
Oh, you
should
should
do
go
that.
see it, yeah. It's the old New London News building. And the building is big. It's not big enough. And you walk in the back, they got boxes of apples or oranges or canned goods. And I mean, the place is just loaded with product. And, but even though they're loaded with it, all that stuff is going out. And they're funded by the United Way. And it's just a tremendous program. And Gemma started that, I don't know how many years ago, but she's been doing a great job with it. And a couple of years ago, the New London Lions donated $3,000 worth of products to them through the international money that they sent out for Hurricane
Through
Sandy.
a grant?
Through the
Good.
grant. But anyway, back to these bags. I think I could see these bags growing a little more. I'm wondering how many other districts are going to pick up on it.
I don't know. Like I said, we're going to take a wait and see, because we don't want to have 100 bags, even though it's non-perishable food. It's not indefinitely non-perishable. So we'll just wait and see, because it's regional. Checking with Willimantic, I talked to both their chief of police and their assistant chief or deputy chief, and they're not interested in the bags.
Really?
They don't feel their police will carry them, or they don't want the police to carry them. But here in this southeastern corner, the shelters are reluctant to give these out because they don't want to encourage people. Up there, the soup kitchens and shelters give out tents and sleeping bags.
Really?
Because the problem is so much worse, they cannot contain it.
Wow.
So rather than they just can't find housing for all of the people.
Well, and we're not building any either.
No.
Yeah.
And there's enough of a change in the economy that apartments that were left unrented, now this is just my opinion, apartments that were left unrented can now be rented to full-paying renters, so landlords are not so interested in being in the subsidized program. So there's a very long list of people waiting for housing.
Oh, yeah. And they're building new buildings everywhere, and they're expensive condos, or what they call affordable condos, which means nothing because you can't afford to buy them anyway.
No.
And the kids today, the ones who are going to suffer because they got to move out of state because they can't find affordable rent.
No, and there's so many empty buildings
Yeah.
that it would, like the YMCA in downtown Norwich,
Yeah.
has been sitting vacant forever, but there are several places down there that would make wonderful shelters or meal centers,
Or apartments.
but they're just way too much, there's just too much investment needed.
Yeah.
And a group like the Lions, we're all volunteers, we don't have that backing that we could afford to do that,
No.
so.
And our income is down.
Oh, absolutely.
The fundraising dollars is down. And the money doesn't stretch as far as it did.
No. But on a more positive note, the district governor's project has raised awareness. There are Lions that probably had thought about something, that, yeah, there is a problem. They're much more aware, and they have an outlet so that they can do something.
Yeah.
And we are touching people's lives. We are affecting them.
And we're having a big fundraiser coming up in
Yes,
January.
we are. In March 12th, there will be an adult comedy night to be held at the Groton Elks Lodge in Groton, Connecticut. Tickets will be $20 a person. We're reserving tables of 10. We already have about 5 tables of 10 reserved.
Wow.
It's a great Christmas present. Stick that in a card to your adult children, and that's what I'm going to. Well, I hope they don't see this. That will be
She's
part
only
of their.
kidding. She's not doing
That'll be part of their present. So.
And that's a good thing. And I know they're going to be selling a program book.
Yes.
Ads in the program book, and the money will be sent out to Gemma Moran and
the New London Community Meal Center.
And they're in really trouble. They
Yeah.
need stuff. If anybody has any extra food products, they need stuff like coffee, tea, things that Gemma Moran does not supply. And if you can drop a case of coffee off or a tea or something, that would be less money that they would have to spend. That would help them out.
How about paper products?
Paper products.
Products also, yeah.
Anything that doesn't have to do with food that they need, salt and pepper, stuff like that. You know, it's just, but that's where their money goes, is on expenses like that. And I believe they own the building too, so I mean repairs got to be made.
Yeah, and heating and oil, electricity.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyone out there that if you're in a Lions Club, we will be approaching you. And if you're in a business in New London County, you'll probably be approached about taking an ad in our program. Ads are reasonable. I don't know if you can see. You probably can't see
Can't
this.
talk about.
Okay.
They're going to sell quarter page ads, half page ads, and full page ads. And it's a good program, and it's going to be obviously going to a good use. The contact Lion Laura at email. Okay, that's the district.
That's the district website.
Website.
For 23C, and that's my email, lionlaura23c@gmail.com.
And you can contact any of your local Lions clubs. They're all aware of what's going on, I think, or they will. And
They should be.
if you're living in the New London area, you can contact me. I'm the president of New London Lions, and it's santostom@comcast.net. But we need help. There's a lot of people out there that need help. We're just the people that are trying to distribute the wealth out there to get some people that need some help. And we have 5 minutes left. Sorry. But anyway, also while you're out there shopping and doing your business, there's a lot of Lions clubs that are selling Christmas trees.
Yes.
Groton's got their big place down there near Benny's.
And Montville has
Montville.
one on Route 32.
And they're having craft shows. Anything you see the Lions, help them out. That's all they're there for. Is they don't get paid, so any money you spend is deductible. And they need the money to distribute for different things like Christmas shopping by Ledyard Club.
Yes, as a matter of fact, Ledyard Lions are having a breakfast with Santa. He always shows up at our pancake breakfast in December. He will pose for pictures with children, and I couldn't tell you the prices offhand right now. I believe it's adults are $6 and children are $4. It'll be December 12th at Our Lady of Lourdes Church on Route 12. Part of those proceeds will go to the homeless initiative, and from our other fundraisers, our weekly bingo, we take children Christmas shopping, children that are having a tougher time in the town of Ledyard, and we generally take about 100 children shopping for a total of $10,000.
That's amazing. Been doing that for so long. Mm-hmm. And New London Lions has got the home show coming up in March, and you'll see us over there. We sell food or anything else we can come up with.
How about chocolate-covered bacon this year?
Oh, God. I gotta learn how to make it. That is so good.
Easy.
I don't know if we
We'll
can
practice.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do it because it'd be great. Anyway, show, let's see, next week we got, the week after next, we got Santa Claus coming in. No, that's Christmas, New Year's Eve. We got a couple other things coming on the 17th. And Santa Claus is going to be here on the 24th. Got to watch that show. You're going to find out a lot of stuff that Santa does. And maybe something you don't want to know.
Wow, I want to watch that one. And maybe I'll sneak in and watch him.
There you
and
go.
Meet him.
And I'll see you next week. Have a great Christmas holiday if I don't see you.
All right, thank
Thank
you,
you, Lauren.
Tom. Thanks a lot.